In 1776, only people who owned land can vote. In 1787, there was no federal voting standard. Only the states could decide who could vote. In 1789, only 6% of the population could vote. In 1848, activists for ending slavery and women's rights joined together. Frederick Douglass gave a speech during this time supporting the universal voting rights. At the heart of the new legitimacy of parties and their forthright celebration of democracy was the dramatic expansion of voting rights for white men. Immediately after the Revolution, most states retained some property requirements that prevented poor people from voting. If a voter lacked economic independence, then it seemed that those who controlled his livelihood could easily manipulate his vote. As property requirements for voting were abolished, economic status disappeared as a foundation for citizenship. By 1840, more than 90% of adult white men possessed the right to vote. At the same time that state legislatures opened suffrage to all white men, they simultaneously closed the door firmly on white women and free African Americans. In 1856, voting expanded to all white men. In 1866, movements unite and divide. Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony form an organization for white and black women and men dedicated to the goal of universal voting rights. In 1870, a vote cannot be denied because of race. The 15th Amendment is passed. 1890. Wyoming is the first state to legislate voting for women in its constitution. 1920. The right to vote is extended to women. 1926. In Birmingham, Alabama, a group of African American women are beaten by election officials. State violence is used to prevent people from exercising their right to vote. 1961. 23rd Amendment is passed. Citizens of Washington, D.C. have the right to vote for the U.S. President. 1963 through 1964. Voting rights as civil rights. The use of voting taxes, literacy tests, and violent intimidation was used to prevent African Americans from voting. 1964. 24th Amendment is passed. It guarantees that the right to vote in federal elections will not be denied for failure to pay any tax. 1965. Voting Rights Act is passed. 1966. The struggle for legal change continues. Civil rights leaders lead marches. The 26th Amendment is finally passed in 1971. If you are 18 years of age, you are now allowed to vote.